Hi again, and welcome to Storytime with Nana Lynn and Glow. This is chapter 7 in the book Unwanted Kitten. So we're going to try to finish the book in the next two videos, this one and one more. So sit back, put your feet up, grab something to drink or your favorite blanket, whatever, and let's just dive right in. Chapter 7, A Place to Hide. Lucy suddenly felt cold. It was just like Izzy had said, you might end up having to stay here and not having a beautiful kitten. Oh, Lucy, don't look like that. Her mom came over and gave her a hug. We're not angry with you. It was our fault for not talking it over with you first. No, you don't understand, Lucy wanted to cry out. Don't give her back. I want to keep her. But her voice seemed to stick in her throat as her parents went on talking. Mom stroked Lucy's hair sadly. Sky deserves a home where she's really wanted. She's such a loving little kitten. She needs someone to give her lots of love back. Lucy had been trying to explain, but that made her stop. It was so true. Sky did need a home where she was loved. Lucy had a horrible feeling that that special home wasn't here with her. She'd been so mean. Sky didn't know whether Lucy loved her or hated her. Maybe I just don't deserve to have a kitten, she thought. But she had to say goodbye to Sky properly, even if Sky didn't understand. Later, Lucy crept downstairs while her parents were in the living room. Sky was in the kitchen, as she usually was at night, and Lucy opened the door quietly. Sky saw her from her basket. She laid her ears back slightly and stared up as Lucy came closer in the faint light from the hallway. Lucy gulped. It was obvious that Sky didn't know what was going on. She crouched down by the basket. Mom and Dad are right, she whispered to the kitten, running one finger down Sky's back. You do deserve a better home than this. I've come to say goodbye, she said, her eyes filling with tears. One of them dripped onto Sky's nose, making her jump. Meow! She meowed indignantly, and Lucy laughed and cried at the same time, stifling the strange noise in case her parents heard. Sky's face was so funny, her blue eyes round and startled. Shh, Sky! Lucy scooped Sky up, tucking her into her robe. Come on, she whispered. Lucy looked around quickly as she opened the kitchen door, then scurried up the stairs to her room. Sky snuggled against Lucy's pajamas, watching curiously as they went upstairs. She'd never gotten this far before. The stairs were steep, and someone always caught her before she'd struggled up more than just a few. Where was she going? Sky purred excitedly as Lucy opened the door to her room and placed her down gently on the floor. Lucy snuggled under her comforter and watched Sky exploring her bedroom, sniffing her way around the boxes. Having Sky in her room made the little kitten seem so much more hers somehow. Lucy could imagine doing her homework up here with Sky sitting on her windowsill, watching the birds, or snoozing on her bed. Sky clambered onto the bed next to Lucy and purred lovingly in her ear. What am I going to do, Sky? Lucy whispered sleepily, petting her. All of a sudden she was so tired. I wish you could tell me what to do. Lucy awoke to find Sky licking her face with her rough little tongue. Hey, Sky, that's a nice way to be woken up, she muttered sleepily. I suppose you want breakfast, she said, as Sky jumped down off the bed and padded over to the bedroom door. Lucy threw on her robe and carried Sky downstairs. When they got to the kitchen, she jumped down and stared demandingly at her food bowl. Meow, she told Lucy firmly. Lucy grabbed the bag of kitten food from the cupboard. She poured some into Sky's bowl and got herself some juice from the fridge. Watching Sky busily devouring her breakfast, Lucy wondered if she could bear to let Sky go. She was so pretty. If she told her parents she'd changed her mind, maybe they could keep her. Her mom came down a few minutes later. You fed Sky, she said in surprise. Then she looked at the bag that Lucy had left on the counter. I suppose I might as well take that to the breeders with me. They'll be able to use it or give it to her new owner. The basket and things too, probably, Mom sighed. Lucy walked quickly out of the kitchen before she started to cry. Sky's new owner? The person who is going to really love her. Everything is so complicated. Lucy felt like she didn't even know what she wanted anymore. The doorbell rang. Izzy and Amber had come to pick her up for school like they'd arranged last night. Sky peeked around the front door, and Izzy nudged Amber. Isn't she beautiful? Isn't Lucy lucky? Amber smiled. Oh, she is so tiny. You really are lucky, Lucy. Lucy didn't want to explain what had happened in case she started crying again. She said, forcing a smile. As soon as Amber left them at the school gates to go to her high school, Lucy burst out. They're taking Sky back. What? Izzy yelped. When? Today, Lucy said miserably. Mom and Dad told me when I got home from your house last night. They said they'd made a mistake, but the people who bred Sky will take her back. Luckily, she sniffed. Izzy gazed at her in horror. And you're just going to let them? Lucy stared down, noticing that her school skirt had white hairs on it. I suppose so, she muttered. She was crying again. You just can't, Izzy said. That beautiful kitten, the best present ever, and you're letting them take her away? Izzy's eyes were flashing, and people were staring at them as she walked along the hallway to her classroom. You don't understand, Lucy wailed. No, I don't. Izzy dumped her bag on their table. Last night I was going to tell them I'd changed my mind about Sky and wanted to keep her, Lucy explained. I was trying to think about how to do it while I was at your house, but when I got home, they told me they were giving Sky back because she needed someone who really loved her. And they're right. All I've done is make her sad, she sobbed. Izzy made a disbelieving noise and put her arm around Lucy. She didn't look sad the other day when you were cuddling her in your yard. She looked really happy. Lucy looked up at her hopefully. Do you think so? Izzy thought for a moment. Do you think maybe you've been upset about moving for so long that you're just looking on the wrong side of everything? Lucy felt hurt. It sounded as though Izzy thought she was just being silly. Well, I'm not trying to be mean, Izzy added hurriedly. It's just, I thought you were actually starting to like being here. You don't really hate it, do you? Lucy shook her head slowly. No, she replied. She looked up at Izzy, feeling confused. She'd been telling herself she hated Fairfield for so long. It was hard to admit to someone that it actually wasn't so bad. No, since I made friends with you, it's been fun, she said, smiling. She sat down slowly on the edge of the table, thinking aloud. And if I could keep Sky and not have to pretend I didn't like her, it would be even better. Lucy looked shyly up at her friend. Izzy really was her friend. All I have to do is explain to Mom and Dad, and everything will be okay. Back at Lucy's house, Mom was in the hall searching for her keys, ready to go out shopping. She just had time before Lucy and Ethan came back from school. Mom grabbed her coat from the closet. Where have I put them, Kitty? She muttered to Sky. Oh, there they are in my pocket all the time. She sighed, looking at Sky's bright, interested eyes. I'm going to miss you, but I suppose it's for the best. I'll see you in a while, little one. Feeling lonely, Sky watched her walk down the road from her perch on the back of the sofa. Then she wandered through the house looking for something fun to do. She could hear the washing machine rumbling in the kitchen. It would be going around and round. She liked to watch it, so she nudged the door open. Sky didn't use her basket much during the day. She usually slept on the sofa, so Lucy's mom had put it away with her food bowl and the bag of food. It was all piled up on the counter, ready to take back that evening. Forgetting about the washing machine, Sky looked at the place where her basket was supposed to be, feeling confused. What was going on? Her bowl, her basket, all that food? Didn't they want her anymore? But she liked it here, and she was sure Lucy was beginning to like having her here too. Determinedly, Sky stalked out of the kitchen. This was her home. Here with Lucy. Distracted by losing her keys, Lucy's mom hadn't closed the closet door all the way. Sky had never seen this door open before, not even a crack, and she nudged it further open with her nose. It was full of boots and bike helmets and coats, and it looked dark and curious. Sky wriggled through the door and wove herself between the boots to get further in. At the back was a big wicker basket full of scarves and hats. Sky climbed into it and burrowed under Lucy's pink fluffy hat. Perfect. Now she would stay here until they changed their minds. All right, next time we'll do chapter 8. Bye.